What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the World According to Briggs. Today we're going to take a look at something that's been on my mind a lot lately: taxes. I pay a good amount in taxes, and that's fine. We all have to do our part, right? That doesn't change the fact that I sweat and shake every time I write that check. I often contemplate moving across the Columbia River into Washington so I can catch a break on the state income tax. Washington doesn't have state income tax. Oregon has 9.9%, but Oregon doesn't have sales tax. It still sucks. Everybody tries to get their taxes lower. It's as American as baseball, apple pie, and advertisements for injury lawyers. Everyone hates paying taxes. We started a revolution because someone taxed our tea too high. There was a bunch of other taxes that were leading up to this and a bunch of other things, but that was sort of the final straw. When we did our taxes, it was in part to help pay for the revolution and other things that benefited the people. The colonists didn't want to pay taxes that were just pretty much making a king richer. Taxations in the colonies consisted of property tax, poll tax, excise tax, and forced labor contributions, which was basically a couple days a month you had to go help build roads and assume other public functions like constable, assessor, and hog reeve. There's something fun. The hog reeve was a dude that was in charge of the prevention and the appraising of damages by stray swine. It's not a job anymore. You really don't worry about stray swine damaging your property. I mean, unless you live near a place that has a happy hour my cousin's ex-wife frequents. Taxes, in a way back then, were just put in place to make things better. Then someone realized it was a good way to gain some personal wealth, and it's been downhill since then. It is something you should read about. It's interesting, and it's something you should know about. You're paying enough in taxes, why not know the history of it? There's a lot of different things you can check out about it. It's really interesting. I'm totally broad brushing this subject right now. It's like a 12-minute video, so I don't have a bunch of time to get in depth with it. This list is about the states that take the biggest chunks from the people. We aren't getting into the corporate taxes or anything else like that, the deductions and way people have to get around taxes. We are just looking at the base tax percentage they charge the residents for income and sales. That being said, why don't we take a look at my top 10 states with the highest taxes? Number 10, Idaho. Idaho is known as the Gem State and the Spud State, as in potato. Spud, potato, get it? Anyway, gems are shiny and expensive, spuds are great with ketchup, and Idaho likes to tax people. You wouldn't expect this from a Republican-run state, but they stick it to you here. These rates on this list are based on normalized and combined rates for single filers with no dependents or deductions. So just kind of the basic taxes I'm talking about here. The state income tax in Idaho is 7.4%, and they top that off with 6% sales tax. It's kind of high. They have a lot of infrastructure projects going on in the state, which is good. The downside is, in a way, it's to accommodate all those Californians moving here, which Idaho people hate. If you do move to the Spud State, keep in mind that if you have preschool spuds of your own, Idaho doesn't currently offer state-funded pre-kindergarten programs. That'll be out of pocket for you, so all your tax dollars aren't going to preschool. Keep that in mind. Number 9, Maine. Maine is right here at the top of New England, in case you don't know. A local radio DJ emailed me last year and asked me if I had a turd for a brain after I uploaded a Maine video. I responded, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Were you looking for someone smarter to help you out with your homework? His only response was, wise ass. I still don't know what he wanted. I'm sure it was to complain about the video, but that was the end of our interaction. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe he just wanted to ask me if I had a turd for a brain. Who knows? Maine isn't the place that goes light on people when it comes to their income tax. It's almost 8% at 7.95%, or their sales tax, which is 5.5%. I'm thinking the DJ is just upset that almost 8% of his income goes to taxes. Hey, at least he could relax, have a Moxie soda, a lobster roll after a long day of firing off angry emails. Maybe that's what he's into. Number 8, New York. Now, I bet none of you saw this one coming. I'm just kidding. I'm sure everyone guessed New York would be on this list. It is right here in case you failed first grade geography. What's surprising about this is how early it is on this list. I'm sure most of you thought it was going to be number 1 or 2. One of the top 5 things listed by people migrating out of New York is taxes. The state income tax in New York State is 8.82%, which is bad. If you live in New York City, you have to deal with the crazy, out-of-control cost of living already. Then you add the income tax, followed by the state sales tax of 4%. New York is chasing people out with the taxes, and I'm not even getting into all the county and city taxes that go along with all that nonsense. It's crazy. Number 7, the District of Columbia. I know, stop typing. It's not a state, but it should be. But it isn't, so it's going on the list anyway, because it's that bad. This is another place with crazy costs of living already, and then they stick you with an 8.95% state district income tax, followed by a 5.75 sales tax. I mean, it's bad enough that you gotta live in a place that's filled with tourists, criminals, and politicians, which in some cases, they're criminals too, and politicians at the same time. There are a whole bunch of weird ways funds are taken and used in Washington, D.C. It goes through Congress and all this weird stuff. I read about it while I was doing the research on this video, and I got really confused. After like 10 minutes, I had to give up. It must be my turd for a brain that the guy from Maine was talking about. I don't know. Number 6, Vermont. Vermont is right here in New England, and if it wasn't for Bernie Sanders, most people on the West Coast wouldn't even know the place existed. Vermont is home to about 620,000 residents that pay a ton of taxes. The state income tax here is 8.95%, and the sales tax is 6%. The good news is they have the lowest amount of crimes committed out of all the states almost every single year. They just eat and drink anything with the word maple on it and treat each other good. That doesn't sound bad. Actually, now that I think of it, those taxes might be worth it. I like maple. Maybe I should move to Vermont. Number 5, Iowa. Now here's another shocker. Iowa has high taxes. Iowa is known for flat lands, cornfields, families, and paying through the nose in taxes, apparently. If you happen to have a job in the Hawkeye State, you're looking at 8.98 in income tax, and if you dare buy something, you're looking at 6% there. If you're working a job as, let's say, a corn husker, you already aren't making much. Then they take some of that. It just doesn't seem fair. The good news is, if you're making next to nothing, you get a bit of a break, and they name the University of Iowa's mascot after Cornhuskers like yourself to recognize the contribution you've made to the rich history of Iowa. Gotcha. Iowa's really the Hawkeyes. Nebraska's the Cornhuskers, the next state over. Leave a comment if you're about to get ready to fire off an angry comment about my turd for a brain. Number 4, New Jersey. Ah, New Jersey, the land of suck. Just kidding. Their actual nickname is the Garden State. I give New Jersey a hard time, but really, after you get outside the cities, it's a really nice state. It's too bad that every single person I have ever met from this state could teach a master class on being rude and obnoxious. When the residents of New Jersey aren't being rude and obnoxious, they take a minute out to pay 8.97 in state income tax, and when they go to buy their spray tan, they cough up an extra 7% in sales tax. Now, I'm sure someone's going to bring this up, so I'm just going to mention it on this one. New Jersey has the highest property tax in the nation. On average, they are about $1,200 more a year than the next state on the list, which is Connecticut. If the American dream is buying a home, New Jersey is the American nightmare. Coincidentally, I believe that is the name of the perfume my cousin's ex-wife wears. Number 3, Hawaii. Guess what, folks? Paradise isn't cheap. Either is anything else on these islands. Well, maybe pineapple, sunscreen, and Spam, but that's about it. The cost of living in Hawaii is one of the highest in the nations, and part of that is taxes. Let's say you're just a TV bail bondsman making a comfortable living. You're going to pay big in state income tax. It's 11%. That's right, Hawaii hit the double digits, and not in a good way. The Aloha state isn't the worst when it comes to sales tax. That's only 4%. You'd think that they're making enough money from all the tourists that they wouldn't need to stick it to the locals that hard, but they do. Again, not in a good way. Number 2, Minnesota. Now this one sort of surprised me. I've been to Minnesota quite a few times, but I've never paid any attention to the taxes in the state. It just never came up. Never heard anyone complain about it, anything. Normally you'll hear complaints about something like that, and then you look into it and find out, wow, that is harsh. Never heard anything. The land of 10,000 lakes has harsh winters and harsher taxes. The state income tax blows in at a solid 9.85%. Not as bad as number 3, Hawaii, but then they hit you with the 6.88% sales tax. That's right, that snowblower you've been looking at all winter because your neighbor made a video of you using your lawnmower to blow away all the snow, went viral. Yeah, that snowblower is going to set you back $42 extra in Minnesota. The good news about Minnesota, they're not going to kill you with property tax. A lot of other states, they don't even fall into they're not even in the top 20. So that's good. You can get through the taxes in the winter. Minnesota's not a bad place to live. And number 1, California. If you didn't guess this one, congratulations. You won nothing because it's obvious. If you didn't know California had high taxes, I'd like to be the first one to welcome you back to the surface of the earth because you've obviously been living underground for some time now. California taxes are so high they could be considered oppressive. California sort of reminds me of like a con man that milks you for everything you have, and when you complain, their strategy is to ask for more money. California takes 13.3% of your income just for the state, and then if you have the nerve to buy something, they get an additional 7.5% in sales tax. These taxes combined with the high cost of living is what's driving so many people out of California. And that's one of the reasons I left California. That's actually number 3, right behind overpopulated and tired of running into ex-girlfriends at Walgreens. Alright, so that's my top 10 states with the highest taxes. Hope you guys got some information out of it. If you're thinking about moving, this is definitely something to consider, especially something like California, where there's rumors they're actually thinking about raising the taxes again. That's just rumor. I have no hard evidence on that one. But anyway, don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me what you thought. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other. Pay your taxes.